Thank you for tuning in to another video by yours truly, Toby, the so-called artist. Hello, all of you lovely, lovely people. I know that I have been gone for quite some time, but I've just come to accept that when when college is in session, I'm just not gonna have the time to make YouTube videos, and that's okay. This isn't my job. This is just something I do for fun. And there's nothing wrong with not being consistent when it comes to doing things that are for fun. Having said that, I am here. Finals has just ended. And by the time this video goes up, I will have been done with all of my finals and released into the summer winds, which are still pretty cold because summer doesn't start until June, and May has been the weather has been awful. Absolutely awful. Would not recommend. But I've been kind of wishy-washy with my feelings. But it's mostly my head has been crowded with so much information and trying to balance school, work, and then existing in a country that doesn't like black people, and me being said black person has been really difficult, and has been making me sad to share my art, because I want to exist as I am, but every single time I open my phone or go on the internet, it's just a constant reminder and negativity, and I don't like that. So I am making this video to combat that, to push back on it, to bring more positivity into my sphere, into my world, my side of the internet. So I am going to draw the one thing that always makes me happy, and that's Sonic characters. If you haven't seen, or if you couldn't tell from it's my cup holder, my background stickers, I have Funko Pops around my desk. I recently, me and my friends went to the mall, and I saw that they had the Wonder Woman Amy Rose there. I love her. So she also sits in the corner of my desk over here. I have so much Sonic stuff around my desk in my home. I got tech decks and skateboards hanging above my desk. It's a whole ordeal. But Sonic characters, they make me happy, and I'm going to draw what makes me happy. Today, though, I'm going to be referencing, hold on. Okay, I had to make sure I charge my Switch. Let me go to my album. So I recently reset my Sonic Forces playthrough. This was my previous character that I had. I really like her blue outfit and details that I had here, so I might take inspiration from this. But my new character is a bird. I wasn't quite sure what kind of bird I would make them. This is just what they had in the options, but I'm tempted to try and make them a toucan. Now, I don't know how the beak shape and the face is gonna work out, but I want to make a little toucan because I like making characters or making the content I don't see a lot. If I'm prompted with a question of, oh, is this something that exists? And if I don't see it, then I'm gonna make it myself. And I don't think a lot of people, at least I haven't seen a lot of bird Sonic characters outside of Sonic Riders. So I am going to make a little bird character, but I'm going to be using my player character from Sonic Forces just as a general base to have something to put together and turn into something new. So I'm going to grab some papers, and then I'm just going to sketch and take you guys along for my process. Alright, so I did initially start my sketching process in my big, I wouldn't say big binder, it's more like a personal size binder, but it was kind of hard reaching around and recording everything with my, binder, like, fully laid out. Drawing it on its own is okay, but with my, like, tripod in front of me, it was kind of uncomfortable. So at some point during my sketching process, I do take my paper out of the binder and I just draw on my table adjuster. So that's that. I will talk more about my binder later, probably at the end of the video, because that's not the focal point here. So uh, let me just focus on what I'm doing here. So as I mentioned that I was going to be like loosely referencing my character in like Sonic Raiders? Sonic Forces. That's what I just couldn't remember the word. Sonic Forces is the name of the game. But I didn't think the plumage that I had in the game worked as like a good toucan kind of hair plumage. This sketching process took a lot out of me. I could not figure things out. It was like the paper looked too small in the moment and I needed to see like a full spread. So I taped all my pages together that I was going to use so that I can space things out mentally and really work with my shape language. And by shape language, I mean that beak. That beak gave me so much trouble because a toucan, their face is like 70% beak, 30%, honestly, it's 70% beak, 20% head, and the last 10% is their eyes. So trying to like flip those ratios around and fit into like a Sonic-esque kind of style, it gave me some trouble. It really did. But like that's the fun part of doing these sketches and part of why I love drawing Sonic characters, because there are like preset rules, I guess, of the style itself. Like there are characters that do go outside of the typical Sonic style, but because of those basics that you can follow, you can push and pull and exaggerate things to kind of fit into the category. But I think they look pretty bird-like, which, you know, was my main focus. I wanted a character that looked like Bird, and I hoped that with the stripe on the beak and making the beak like really round and in your face, it would read as toucan. I do think I could have pushed the beak out more, but this was my first attempt. You know, I wasn't as daring as I could have been, but I am happy with how the sketches were turning out. I did like a front facing view, a 3/4 view for both angles, I guess. I thought I would do like a side profile sketch at first, but I didn't like how that was turning out, so I switched to the sketch that I'm doing now, which has them at like another 3/4 view. But I wanted to have something that showed off a little bit of their personality, you know? So I did a little sketch of them just floating, I guess. I wouldn't call it flying, it's just them floating there. And I really wanted to focus on like the tail feathers because, you know, the Sonic characters don't exactly have wings for their bird characters. It's mostly like in their tail plumage. So I wanted to give them a really exaggerated tail feather that honestly, it kind of gives Peacock a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. With like the curly shapes that I add to it. But I like it too much to change it. And so they're just going to have a really big, poofy, exaggerated tail. And another thing you can see me fight with, it's the shoes. I could not decide what. I know at first I was going to reference the shoes from the video game, but I could not figure out a way to draw them and make them look good in my style. And I go back and forth over different shoe styles, how long I wanted the shoes to be, how big, how small, and I decided to take a break from them to work on the like shirt that they would be wearing. So I thought if I figured out the style of their shirt, then I can make shoes that match it. Like if I do something super formal, I can do formal shoes. Or if I do something super girly, I can do maybe some like girly pumps. But I couldn't figure things out. So I went for like a simple kind of shirt, and then I don't think I stick with these shoes. I do think I change them when I do my line art. And we're back. I played around with the line art in my own personal time. I didn't want to record it because, yeah, a bit rusty right now, and I didn't know exactly which pins I was going to use, so I just decided to, camera off, just lock in, and do what I want. And I love how this turned out. I decided to do one of like those, I forget what it's called. I know it's not like, is it like a baseball shirt? Like the shirts that have like the collar and then like the sleeves are all the same color, but it has like that triangle or like trapezoid at the top. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called a baseball shirt, but I'm not quite sure. But I wanted to do that. I did some simple sneakers. If you saw in the sketch, I was going back and forth with those shoes. So I decided to just do sneakers, some leg warmers. I really wanted to like reference my character from Sonic Forces, but then I realized that the style just didn't fit the pose I was doing. Like, this is them in like with freedom and they're happy. And if you ever played Sonic Forces, you're at war. You are locked in to the freedom fighters, which I really love the game Sonic Forces because Sonic is a freedom fighter. Like, he had to fight in wars and stuff and like help endangered animal species all throughout the like IDW comics. Like, it's not just, oh, Eggman did this. There is literal war. He is fighting for the freedom of other people. And Sonic Forces really tackles and shows like, hey, this is how much effort Sonic and all of his friends are putting into to free people. Like, they are out here battling and making battle plans so that they can reclaim territory and help people escape from Eggman's control. So, this is my character. You can say this is them pre-war. This is them before Sonic Forces happens. And then Sonic Forces happens, and maybe I'll do a video that shows, like, them after, the effects of, being in the Resistance and how that changed them. But right now, they're just a free bird, and I'm gonna color them. I don't think I'm gonna color the headshots here. I mostly did this to explore, like, beak shape and like how big and I wanted to do the beak and how it would look at different angles. But I am gonna color this big illustration that goes around and curves here. Now, before I get any zoologists in my comments, I know that this is not an anatomically correct toucan. I know the feathers don't match. That's okay. I took some creative liberties. You gotta let it go. You gotta chill. It's called freedom. Creativity. It's an idea, a concept. It does not have to be factual. Alright, let's get into the coloring process. If you couldn't tell, I really do love the Sonic comics and video games. There are two wolves inside of me, and one of those wolves is a very loud one that wants everything to be related to the Sonic comics and the video games, and the other wolf is like, please, let us be normal. But I am here to let that wolf be free, to let that wolf scream and shout and do all the fun things it wants to do. And that's making cute little Sonic characters that have like intricate backstories. Color-wise, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I'm basing the colors off of a photo I saw on Reddit of, it was like a leak of a certain thing that might be coming out this year, and the thing has a toucan on it, and the toucan is blue and like has oranges and browns, and I love this toucan. It looks so cute. If the leak that I saw on Reddit was true, allegedly, then I will definitely want to buy the thing. But I don't know if it's like an actual thing that's coming out. So, this is me manifesting like toucan energy. I am bringing the toucan to life by making an OC. Honestly, that is the process I take with making some of my OCs. I see a thing I really like, I want it to be mine, so I make a character that will be loosely inspired by that thing that I wish into existence. Honestly, there's not much I have to say about the rest of the coloring process. It was very straightforward. I used a lot of different marker brands. I get these questions a lot. I use Ohuhu markers, I use Copic markers, Artex markers, I use Winsor Newton alcohol markers. I use any marker that has alcohol ink in it. Okay, I have some markers that I got from Joann's when I was in high school. There's only like I think 3 left from that first pack I got. I do need to go through all my markers and figure out which ones are out of ink, because sometimes I just leave the barrel in the bucket with the rest of my markers, so I don't actually know if they have ink in them or not, because they're like very specific colors that I don't gravitate to, but I have them just in case. And I need to figure out if these markers I'm keeping just in case are even able to be used, you know? But that is the plights of having way too much art supplies. And back to the coloring process, as you guys have watched here, I am switching from markers to color pencils, because lately, these days, I've been really into like doing finishing details with my color pencils. It just makes it easier for me to like push and pull colors, especially because I use a lot of mixed media paper. So it makes it a breeze to go over, lighten some areas, really darken other areas. Because sometimes when you use alcohol markers, they get kind of muddy when you blend them together. So the shadows don't really pop as much as I want them to. So I go back with my color pencils to really make them pop. And I don't always want to use a gel pen for my highlights. So to make a softer highlight, I will use like color pencils and such. But as I do my finishing touches on everything here, I want to give a quick shout out to my Chewy Art Club members. These are people who donate $2 a month on my Ko-fi page. They get to see exclusive artwork and behind the scenes content, which I really appreciate the support. So thank you, Sleeping for the Weekend, for supporting me this month. And I'm done. I am so like mellowed out right now. You guys don't understand. Like, I colored this when I did like my color pencil touches, and I hit a flow state. I truly just turned my brain off and I let the art take over my body. And it was such a relaxing experience. Honestly, I love drawing. But here they are. I don't have a name for them yet. They're just my Sonic Forces OC. So I might workshop some names another day. It'll probably have to be like in a week or two, because finals ended. I have turned my brain off. There is no thoughts in this head. My head is empty. But I'm just happy to have created something. And as I briefly mentioned earlier in my sketching process, I was going to talk about my journal that I was using. So let's talk about it. This is a 2000 to 2001 issued Barbie personal planner. I did have there's a bunch of pages in here for dates, calendars, but it was all for the year 2000, so I did take most of those out. The only things I've kept in here from the original planner was there's these little note cards, and this one's a harder plastic, so I left this back here. I also have a pocket of the Gardevoir Pokemon line and some ATs, yes. No, this isn't ATs, this is Stray Kids. These are my Stray Kids wristbands that I have in here. And then this is a pencil board I made, and oh, those are some stickers I have back here. I filled this to the brim, so that's my pencil board, my papers. I also have some photo cards of my boys. This is Bang Chan, and then Hemin from Plav. Then I have this Mew sticker. I have this Gudra card with a Skitty on the other side to match my Skitty keychain I have here. That it's like regular Skitty and then shiny Skitty. And then here I have this pin, this Blaze pen that I felt like went with the planner itself, but I didn't want to like puncture anything, so I just put it on a card and I just had that put into my binder. This is a charm that, I don't know what, like a charm train. I got one of those K-pop Demon Hunter bracelet making kits from Five Below. I got the Mira version because she is my favorite girl from K-pop Demon Hunters. I do also have my Rumi pop figure on this side too. I gotta get something with Zoe on it. I gotta find something with Zoe to put her in here as well. And here, what do I have in this pocket? Okay, I have some Monchichi stickers that I got also from Five Below. I know I got something shuffled in here. I have the rest of my Moomin sticky list notepad. So like it has a little bullet journal, like a to-do list kind of notepad. I got this Leafeon reflective card. I got an Eevee, I have Jolteon, and I have a psychic energy card in here. I think that's all I have in this little pocket. And I have this pen for doing my writings, but that's all that I have inside of my journal. This is how I fold it up to close it. And you see here, it's got that B for Barbie. This is like a Mattel thing. I got this off of Etsy. So I only paid $20 for it. It was like $10 shipping, but I won it in a bid. Not Etsy. What am I thinking? I got this off of eBay. That's what I'm thinking. I got this off of eBay. It was a bid, and I won, and I got it for $20. So once again, I have Rumi here. I have Gwen in her destroyed robot form, and then I have Garius from Mass Effect, my husbando. I have him here. So that is all of the details of my planner currently. I do believe this is what's this, A6? I do think this is an A6 binder. It might be A5. It's either A6 or A5. I always get them mixed up. But that's pretty much all I have to say for today. I want to thank everyone for stopping by my video. And I will hopefully have another video out in May. I've been having some ideas of some things I want to talk about, but trying to find the right way to approach them, because, you know, honestly, I'm a content creator. I want to talk about certain things, and I don't care if other people want to hear it. I just want to voice my thoughts and opinions, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!